What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today we're covering the top 8 deck lists from the European Internationals Pokemon TCG's Masters Division. Now, if you don't know, over the weekend there was actually a huge tournament going on. For some reason, if you do not know this, it's bigger than regionals, probably bigger than the nationals as well, because anybody could participate in this. And this is the first tournament of this kind ever, which is fantastic. And today we're going to go over the top 8 decks. Now, I'm not too excited to cover this because a lot of these decks are going to be very similar. And I mean, it's not bad for format. Like, it's still amazing. Like, Evital Garbodor is a really skillful deck. Like, it takes a really good player to actually like win the tournament with Evital Garbodor, which is fine. I love that. I just wish it was a little bit more diverse. But let's go over it and let's see what actually won. So the first place grand champion is going to be Michael Prima, of course, playing Evital Garbodor. It's won pretty much every regional so far. And I know for sure in America it won every standard regionals. In Europe, I think Mega Quaza and a Rainbow Road deck has won. But now in the European Championship, it was Evital Garbodor taking the first place spot. We know what Evital does. Pitch Black Spear 60 and 62 EX Pokemon on the bench, and the tool cards do not work when Evital is in act spot. He did play 3 Evital EX, pretty much the same thing we've seen on all these lists. So 2-3, 2 Garbodor, 2 Travis, 2 Shaman. Nothing too special about that. 4 and 9, I think 9 is the standard number that people are playing. And now, yeah, so 4 Sycamore, 3 and 2 Lysander, 1 Delinquent, which turned out to be really fantastic for Michael. He played it like, when he's like, oh, I don't need to play a supporter card, but I can Delinquent them down to 0, or I can make them discard 3 cards out of their hand if there's a stadium card to play. It did prove very useful. I think Jimmy Pendarvis also played this in his deck as well. And also, he played Pokemon Center Lady. Pokemon Center Lady heals 60 damage and remove all special conditions from one of your Pokemon, which kind of makes Fright Night Evital, not that really useful because you can just heal the 60 off the active or the bench, whatever's happening. Now, the next card is a very new tech card in Evital Garbodor, and if you watch my interview with Andrew Mahone, he actually talked about playing this in his Evital Garbodor deck, and I think this is a card that everybody's going to start including in their list. It's fantastic. It's a really good counter to the Mirror. And you discard energy attached to your opponent's act Pokemon, and you might be saying, alright Squeaky, why is that good? Well, when you combine this with Enhanced Tamer, you can discard a special energy off the active, use Team Flare Gun, and make it where your opponent cannot attack next turn, which is fantastic. If they Wise Cycle and move energy off the active to the bench, you can then Team Flare Gun, discard a Dark, discard a DCE, and you're good to go. And Team Flare Gun is going to see more plays for sure to help beat the Mirror match. All right. So 4 Via Seeker, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Max Elixir, 3 Fear Belt, 3 Flowstone, 2 Escape Rope. 2 Enhanced Tamer, 1 Escape Rope. Escape Rope is a new card in Evital Garbodor, but it's definitely going to be played a little bit more, especially if lists stop playing Olympia. Everybody played Olympia to get around Fright Night so that we can't light Center Stall, but maybe the 1 copy of Escape Rope is enough. Now, I wonder if some people are going to opt to play Olympia instead, because Olympia is still really good. Just guaranteed, switching, healing the 30 is very strong. While Escape Rope, you can only use it 1 time, but Olympia does waste your supporter card for turn. Now, I know some people are opting to play like Olympia over Cinderlady. It seems like a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, we know Pram did decide to play Cinderlady over Olympia in his championship list. But besides that, nothing else stands out. Alright, but if you look at the top 8 pairings, alright, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of top 8 were Evital Garbodor. If this does not say Evital Garbodor is the best deck in format, you are crazy. It's definitely the best deck to beat. You're either playing it or you're trying to beat it. And that's the thing nowadays. Can we find a deck that could constantly beat Evital Garbodor? And I'm going to say no. I don't think there's a deck that can constantly beat Evital Garbodor over and over again. You just have to get lucky, which is a Pokemon. It's always like, do you get lucky or not to win these games? But let's cover these other Evital Garbodor lists. Next up is going to be Jacob Lasage. Some of these are going to be a little bit different, but not too much. As you see, Jacob is playing Olympia over Pokemon Simulator. He does include Team Flare Grunt, so first and second place both did play this new tech card of Team Flare Grunt Discard Energy off the active. As you see, the team, it's all 3 Fright Night, 2, everything's the same, like literally same 24 cards right here. It all switches up between like 5 cards with these guys. He's not going to play Escape Rope, okay. Did Pram even play Trainer's Mail? No, he did not. He actually opted to cut all of his trainer's mail, which is not a bad thing either. I know in my new Vest Queen Striker deck that I made, I actually didn't play any trainer's mail as well. I just played more consistent cards instead. And yeah, that's what Pram did as well. We see Jacob did still play the 3 trainer's mail, and I wonder if people are going to follow this path of not playing any trainer's mail in the list. Now, Pokemon could have messed it up, and maybe he is playing trainer's mail, but as of right now, he is not playing any in this list. And I wonder, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's 60 cards right here. But yeah, no trainers mod. Just not realized that, which is a big difference between this Iwataka Bonus list. Jacob does play. He does play the trainers mod. He plays no Escape Rope, but he does play Olympia still, and no Pokemon Certainty, and that's gonna be the difference in their list. Alright, so next up is going to be another Iwataka Boater. This one is going to be different because he does play Ace Trainer. If you're down on prize cards, your both players shuffle their hands and deck, your opponent gets 3 and you get 6. Alright. And he plays Delinquents, okay, but no Olympia and no Pokemon Certainty. It looks like Philip did decide to cut that for an Ace Trainer instead. And he does play 1 Jirachi. Now, if you notice, he did cut a Shaman for Jirachi and 4 Iwataliaks, and actually no Fright Night. So this is actually a totally different list. Just straight Iwataliaks, no Fright Night. Just going to use one of the best attackers in the game and be really consistent. Now, I think a similar list did make second place in Europe a couple weeks ago. Maybe that's where they got the idea from. But just using Evolve X, Evolve Y Cyclone just over and over again, and using Jirachi for that Stardust, discarding energy, special energy off the active, and if you do, the Jirachi cannot be hurt, which is fantastic. Sometimes in the mirror match, you can use Stardust, discard DCEs, and make it where they can't hurt Jirachi where you're setting up on the bench. Which is cool. He actually played a 3-2 Garbodor line and 1 Shaman, but still the 9-4 injuries is staying in this list. 3 Trainers Mail, 1 Town Map. Turn over all your prize cards face up. Those prize cards may face up for the rest of the game. And I remember watching the stream and watching Philip, or I think it was Toward, they would play like the town map and they had the price scam, and the price scam would be so confused because now the price scam can't see the price cards anymore, which is really funny. I think they eventually got a camera just to look at the price cards when they flip over. But yeah, for Flowstones as well, he's gonna make sure he gets those Flowstones on Trubbish and make sure his Evil Target has free streets as well. 2 fighting free wells, and besides that, it's kind of like a regular Even Target Boater list, but no Fright Night and playing 1 Jirachi. And I'm pretty sure Tor's list is the same. 60, no, it's not. It is, I lied, it is not the same 60. It's a totally different list. Nope, yep, every single one is different. Alright, so let's go to Tor's. I thought somebody was playing the same 60, but it turns out, nope, nobody's playing the same 60. Yeah, I got that. I'm wrong. Alright, so Tor's list, playing 2-1. Looks like he is going to play an Oblivion Evital instead of the Fright Knight. It is play 1 Evital break with the Baleful Knight. It does 120 damage, and let's see if I can zoom in real quick. Hold on. There we go. Alright, let's scroll down a little bit, okay? This attack does 30 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon that has damage counters already on it. Now, I think the main thing about the Evital break is you are giving yourself a way around. Oh, my phone. Hold on. Stop that. My speaker's going off. I think the main reason why he did play this was to get around Jolteon. Jolteon can be taken down with Evital break because it can hit it, because now you're break instead of a basic, which is fantastic. But still, 120, hitting already for 30, that already has damage counters on it. It's not bad because you do play the Pitch Black Spear that does 60 and 60 to a bench, so it does work out well. Once again, for Evital EX, just going to make sure you have one of the best attackers in the game in your deck, and you'll have multiple access to it. Two-guard Boater, looks like he did cut a Trubbish, one Jirachi, and two Shaman with 9 and 4. This 9 and 4 is pretty much in every single list. It's a very, very common staple nowadays. But we're going to look at his trainer cards. We're going to see two Lysander Delinquents, no PCL, no Olympia, no healing trainer cards, and a 4/4 Sycamore in. Okay. Three Max Elixir, so we're going to opt to play one less. Three Flowstone, four Via Seeker, two Perilous City. I wonder what I'm missing. Like, what's the key things that we're missing? All right, so 50. So he's playing four more Pokemon than usual in his list. Okay. And which means four less trainer cards. So we know one for sure is a Sportic. Oh, he doesn't play any Enhanced Hammers as well. So that's three right there. So no Enhanced Hammers, no like Team Flare Gun, no Olympia, no Pokemon Salinity. And that's going to be the difference between these lists. But still, it did work out. Obviously, it worked out fantastic for all these guys. For Michael, Jacob Lesage, Philip Schultz, Tord, all did fantastic, make a top 4. And anybody top 8, that first of all, that's fantastic. Congrats. But yeah, Tord is going to play a different kind of Yveltal deck. And even though these are all like the same deck, they're all different at the same time, just because these little different changes. The next up is going to be, I guess you say Yi is how you say his name. I apologize for that. But played another Yveltal Boater deck, two Fright Knight, three Yveltal EX, two Two-Guard Boater, and one Darker EX. With the Dark Color and the Abyssal Sleep 80, your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. Your opponent flips 2 coins instead of 1. If either one's a tails, that Pokemon is still asleep, or they both have flip heads, basically. Which is fantastic. I mean, if your opponent doesn't play like PCL, they don't play Olympia, this Darkrai could sweep him, which is fantastic. Now, I wonder how much it works for him. He is actually weak to fighting, which is great if you need to counter to lightning. As you see, everybody else is weak to lightning, but this Darkrai is weak to fighting. And I wonder, how did the Abyssal Sleep work? That's the big question here. But once again, like always, the 4-9, it is like a super staple. Every single one of these lists played a 4-9, 4 double colors, and 9 dark energy. So, we're going to see that he did play a Delinquent, Pokemon Salinity, so he's going to opt to play a Cinderlady over Olympia, 4 Via Seeker, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Max Elixir, 3 Belts, 2 Flowstone, 2 Trainer Smell. So it looks like what he did is he cut an Enhanced Hammer for this Darkrai instead, which is not bad at all. I mean, it did work for him, obviously. He did make top 4. No, top 8. This is top 8. Yeah, top 8, so still congrats. But yeah, that's the big difference. So, Cinderlady over Olympia, cut an Enhanced Hammer for a Darkrai, the promo Darkrai from the 20th anniversary Mythical Collection box. Alright, but now, there we go. So we covered 5 different Yveltal Boater lists. Once again, it seems like they're all the same deck, but they're totally different in their own aspects as well. Next up, it's going to be Graft and Roll, playing the Greninja Break deck. So we did have a Greninja make a cut, but unfortunately, I think he did not draw well in top 8. But yeah, playing a Talonflame version with the Gale Wings, and this Pokemon is in your hand, you can start with it and have the attack Arrow Blitz. Does 40, search deck for 2 cards, and put them into your hand. Now, he's going to play a 4-3 with 3 Froakie. It's that way you have a better chance of starting with Talonflame. If you have 3 Froakie, obviously you don't start with it that much, and you start with Talonflame a little bit more, but you know Water Duplicates. You have Greninja with Status Change and Moonlight Slash, and 3 Greninja Break. Now, last time we covered Greninja Break, I think it was Chris, and he actually played 4 Splash Energies, and we're going to see Grafton kind of play the same strategy, play 3 instead of 4 with 7 Waters. I think that was the same count. I think it was actually 6 and 4, still 10 Energies, but it's going to play 3 Splash instead of the 4. Okay. 4 Sycamore, 3 in, 1 Lysander. I guess that's okay, Greninja, because, you know, Greninja, you can just take knockouts on the bench regardless, so Lysander, really not that needed. 1 Fishman to return Water Energies back into your hand. 1 Ace Trainer, once again, if you're down on prize cards, you can end your opponent, or I guess if you're up on prize cards, I don't know, like, if you have 6 and your opponent has 4, you can play this card. Put your opponent on 3, and you get 6. And we're going to see that Grafton did play a Team Flare Gun to actually help out against this Evital deck. And you're going to see a lot of decks start trying to figure out ways how to counter Evital. Because if your list cannot beat Evital Garbodor, what are you doing? You should be playing the tournament because it is going to be everywhere. And once again, if they do that Wise Cyclone play, moving energy off the active to the bench, you get Team Flare on it. But also, in Grafton's case, he can discard DCs off the active and make it where it's hard for them to one-shot his Greninja breaks. So 4 VS Seeker, 4 Dive Ball, 2 Ultra Ball, and 3 Max Potion. Once again, just finding ways to beat Evitar Garbodor. With Max Potion, if they do not one-shot you, you can Max Potion, heal the damage off the active, discard all your Water Energy, but for the most part, you are going to be using the Moonlight Slash, putting the energy back into your hand, and so that way you're never discarding energy, actually. Unless you have a Splash Energy on it, then things become weird, which is why Grafton probably opts to play less Splash Energies, because he does play those 3 Max Potions. Now, to save space, he is going to cut 2 balloons and only play 2 instead. And with 2 balloons, you have to make sure you put it down on the precise turn, because if you drop your balloons out just randomly, you're going to be in trouble. You wasted that 60 damage, so you need to make sure you play these 2 balloons very, very carefully. And he's going to play 2 Enhanced Armor as well. Wow. Alright, so 2 Enhanced Armor. He is super trying to beat Evitar Garbodor, which did work. He made it to top 8. I imagine he played a ton of Evitar Garbodor, but unfortunately, I think he did lose to Pram in top 8. Which I guess is not bad to lose a champion, right? But 2 Enhanced Armor, discard Special Energy off any Pokemon on the field. And if you can Enhanced Armor and T-Flare to discard 2 DCEs, you should be winning that game for sure. But 1 Super Rod, so a lot of lists do play 2 Super Rod. We see that Grafton did play the 1 instead. I don't know. I don't like the. I don't know. I'm indifferent about it, because if you discard your Super Rod early, through a Sycamore or something, and you need it late game, well, then you don't have one. So I don't know, but it's one of those things you have to be careful. Make sure you're paying attention when you're playing the cards. 2 Faded Town, and 1 Silent Lab to shut down all basic abilities Pokemon, or basic Pokemon's abilities. Okay, so there we go. There's Grafton's top 8 Greninja break list. Now next up is going to be 2 Volcanions. So in Europe, in the top 8, it was 5 Evitar Garbodor, 1 Greninja, and 2 Volcanion. That is crazy. Next up, we'll look at Pedro. And he's actually going to play a Volcanion, but he has a new friend in here that we haven't seen before in this Volcanion deck. So, Volcanion with the Power Heater, 20, attach a Fire Energy, attach 2 Fire Energies from your discard pile to 2 of your bench Pokemon. And 4 Volcanion, of course, with Steam Up, discard a Fire, do an additional 30 damage. Volcanion Heat for 130, you can't attack next turn, but you play cards like Ranger and Escape Rope to get around this, to negate that. Because, Ranger removes all effects, and Escape Rope makes it where you switch your active, or both players switch your active, and then you can get around to somebody else and bring it back up. Like Escape Rope, you can retreat back into it to attack again the following turn. But he is going to play his Salamence EX. And think about, Volcanion, even though it seems like a really simple concept, there's so many different ways to play it. We know we saw Med play it with Dragonite, Entei. I've seen people play with just Dragonite with no Entei. I've seen people play with Entei. I've seen people play it with different stadiums. As you see, Pedro did play 1 Skyfield, sorry, and 1 Scorched Earth. But you can play. I've seen people play Faded Town. I've seen people play Rough Seas. There's a lot of different things you can do with Volcanion, which is very, very cool. But we see Pedro is going to play the Salamence with the Beastly Fang. It does 10, and this attack does 50 more damage for each of your opponent's Pokemon EX. So that means if you have 3, you could do 160, which is still not enough for knockout, but then you put a Fighting Field, you can do 170. I don't know if Beastly Fang is actually worth it. It's for each of their opponent's Pokemon EX, sorry, not just for bench. So if they have 4 in play, you could do 210. But that's 1 of the active and 3 on the bench, which, your opponent can just manipulate their hands. But a lot of people do play Hoopa. And once they Hoopa, they're usually grabbing 3 EX Pokemon, and that guarantees your Salamence to do so much damage. And it's just going to come down to will your opponents realize that you play Salamence, and will they take care of their bench and not drop them? And if they don't, Salamence can take a quick knockout. It needs 3 energies, which is the same amount as Volcanion. You can just, Max Elixir to it, which is fantastic. Attach Max Elixir, whatever you want to, and you just have this like EX Pokemon ready to destroy people, which is fantastic. And it can help against like Mega Rayquaza as well, because they're gonna fill their bench up with a bunch of EX Pokemon. You can Beastly Fang them for a knockout, and maybe make it where they can't knock out the following turn if you have 10 HP with a Fighting Fear Belt. One Hoopa, like I'm talking about, two Shaman, and like we talked about with Dark earlier, every single Volcanion deck is playing 12 fire. I don't think I've seen a Volcanion list that had stopped that's not playing 12 fire, unless I'm crazy. I think like the standard is 12 fires, which is cool that we're coming to this, like that we're having like standards for energies, which I think is really neat. Before Sycamore, 2 and 2 Lysander, Fishman, Delinquent. We pretty much covered all this stuff already. 2 energy retrieval. Okay, that's an interesting thing. Usually when you see Volcanion, they're playing 4 energy retrieval to get 82 cards out of your, or 2 fires out of your discard pile to reuse them fairly easily with Steam Up. I mean, I love 4 energy retrieval, but I mean, he has so much stuff in his list, like the Delinquent, the Fisherman. I don't think, yeah, my list didn't play Fisherman and Fort Wayne. He did have to cut room for the Solomons, so that's a thing as well. Everything else seems pretty fine, though. But I guess, yeah, the 2 retrieval, it's because, like, Delinquent, Fisherman, Solomons, there's stuff in there that he could cut, but he's going to play the cards instead, which is not bad. Obviously, he did make top 8, so congrats to him one more time. And 1 Skyfield and 1 Scorched Earth. Just depending on the situation, you can put down either one. Put Skyfield down so you have multiple bench Pokemon, and a Scorched Earth to discard a fire and draw 2 new cards. Now, the last deck is going to be Ater, playing a Volcanion deck. And this one, look, 12 fire. I told you. Look, guys, 12 fire. But just pretty standard Volcanion list. 3 Volcanion, 4 Volcanion X, 1 Hoopa, 2 Shaman. 4 Sycamore, 2 in, 2 Lysander, 1 Ranger, and 1 Delinquent, which Delinquent actually goes well with Parallel City. If you notice, he doesn't play any other stadium card besides Parallel City, so you have to play Delinquent. You Delinquent your opponent's Parallel City, they put yours down, you're good to go, because you don't want to negate yourself down to 3, you want to negate your opponent down to 3, but then you do 20 less damage. So I don't know how much I like Parallel City, actually. I don't know if I like Parallel City at all, Volcanion. I know I never played it in Mindless, but I guess having 3 bench Pokemon is not too bad. But the 20 less damage is definitely like really significant when playing Volcanion. That's definitely an interesting choice. I guess if you're watching this, let me know why you play the Parallel Cities. That's a very interesting thing for sure. I guess to help you beat Mega Quaza and Mega Guardy, because they'll have a tougher time beating you if you do put the Parallel City down. But you're doing 20 less damage, so I don't know. I don't know how that balances out. That's the big question. How does Parallel City work with Volcanion? I mean, I don't know. That's the big question. I don't know. But yeah, guys, there we go. There's the top 8 list. I mean, this one is pretty. Everything is pretty much the same. 3 retrieval instead of the 4, but he's playing 1 Fishman, so that's fine. They're gonna be okay. But yeah, there's a top 8 list. And the thing to learn about this video, if you're still watching, is that Evil Tucker Border is the deck to beat. When going to Dallas Regionals here for New Year's, your deck better be ready to play against Evil Tucker Border. If you cannot beat it, you do not need to play the list. I promise you, you're going to play Evil Tucker Border at least 2 to 3 times that weekend. And yeah, we'll see what happens, guys. Will Evil Tucker Border take the next standard regionals, which is Dallas? I know this weekend coming up is San Jose, but that one is expanded. And at least expanded, well, never mind, it's not really open. It's Trevenant. Trevenant's the best deck and expanded, with Greninja right behind it. But guys, there we go. Hope you enjoyed this video. Tomorrow we will cover the Junior Division, and then on Friday we'll cover the Junior Division like we always do. But guys, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still listening, thank you so much for all your support. Love you, every single one. Have a great day. Alrighty. Bye. Alright, guys, I just want to give a quick shout out to our 3 sponsors, 60 Cards, Yeti Gaming, and the Pokemon Company International. Links to everything will be down below in the description. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Alrighty.